Hi, my name is Zikra. Like what you see, give me a
Like and subscribe.
I've got some beautiful Christmas themed cardstock, and I've paired them up with a bunch of other cardstocks that I have. I'm going to mass make single signature journals, and I'd like to for you to join me, and let's make a bunch of journals. So I've taken each of these cardstocks, the Christmas theme ones, and as I said, I have paired them up with different printed cardstocks that I think matches well with these. So we'll start with these Christmas themed ones first, and I'll just put these aside for now. I think they're so gorgeous. Look at how they shimmer, and yeah, they've got that metallic look. So what I'm going to do with these ones, I'm going to have them as the first page of my signature. So the way I'm going to do this is, I've just done one here to show you. Just keep this aside. Right. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to measure them to the size of a page, like so. And the remainder of the bottom half, I'm going to cut it out, because say this was one cardstock like this, but as you can see, when I bend it over, like this, the feet of the center is upside down, and that's not very pretty. Let me show you this way. So the pockets will be like this, but the feet are head, like, you know, they're upwards. So what I would like is for them to be this way. But I also thought, since I'm going to do them to each one of these, despite the fact what doesn't matter about the image that's at the bottom of all of these, I'm going to do everything. But I'm going to like mix and match, since they are two separate pieces now. I hope that makes sense. So I'm just going to make two pieces like this, and I will mix and match them, and then probably add them like this, but not to the ones they were originally from. So it makes it a bit more interesting. So let's get started. So I don't have, I do have, just a second. So as you know by now, I have one of these beautiful cutters. Before, it used to cut very well. I don't even remember how this opens anymore. Sorry. But this cutter is quite dull now. I should change it, but then again, I'm not very confident to cut from this, because sometimes it's perfectly the measurements that I had measured and then I cut, and sometimes it's all wrong. So I don't want that stress, so I'm just going to put this aside, and I am going to use my handy dandy cutting board. It's just a normal plastic one. There was 3 in 1, and I'm just using the biggest one for my crafts. As you can see, it's very well loved on my craft table. So until I can buy those big mats, maybe I will purchase one, maybe I won't, but this has not let me down. These 3 things has not let me down. My metal ruler, my metal, what do you call this, cutting pen, what is it called? What is this called? I keep forgetting. Sharp blade, apparently. That's what it says over here. My pen knife. There we go, Zikra. And my cutting board. So I'm just going to get started. So I'm just going to now take each of these cardstocks, and I'm just going to take this piece of paper, which is tea-dyed paper, just an A4 sheet, and I'm going to, my process is very slow, but it works for me. I want to do it this way. It makes me happy, and you should also do what makes you happy. It does not matter if it doesn't work for other people, because your method may be slow or ineffective, but what works for you should be what you should always do. It does not matter what the others feel is right or wrong, as long as you're not harming anyone and your craft makes you happy. That's all that should matter. That's me giving myself a pep talk. Okay, so I'm just going to measure this like that and like this. And then I will draw this line from this mark to this mark, as you can see. So that's what it's going to look like. Does it show? I hope so. And I will be cutting this out. So I'm going to quickly draw all my cardstock, and then I'll start explaining the rest. I'm just quickly putting them in the correct order. So when I cut it up, I want to cut this this pattern or this image part to be the pocket. I don't want to cut it this way. Like if I had cut it this way, then this is going to be two separate pieces. So I'm just going to make sure this is the part I'm cutting out. If you prefer, actually, I can do that as well. See, now for this one, for example, let me just explain really quick. For this one, I could have done this. Since this is the major image, I could have taken this part to be the main focus. Like this could have been the paper that I fold in half, and this half could have been the pocket. So I think I'm going to keep that in mind, so the center wouldn't be cut in half. But this is done, and that's okay. But for this one example, I'm going to make this part the page. So I'm going to quickly show you how this is done. So I'm going to mark it. Like that. Maybe I should just do one by one and show you how it's done. Yes, I think I will do that. Right. So that one's done. Let me just draw everything. Let me just draw everything and then I'll explain. Of course, you can use a measuring tape or ruler and then measure this width and then do it, but I find this is so much faster for me, and I don't mind doing this. And this one also, I'm going to have this bottom piece. Now see, this one has two images, so I'm sure it wouldn't matter which one I choose. Let me just keep this piece of paper on top and then we'll see which one. So if I put this over there, then this little reindeer, their heads are going to be cut off. Whereas if I pull this down, then it's a bit okay, because this doesn't look too bad as a pocket as well. And then half of the house has to be sacrificed, unfortunately, but I'm okay to sacrifice the house, not the cute reindeer. not the reindeer, because I feel sorry for them. They look so cute. So let's do that. That's a beautiful car with Santa. He's a more modern one. He's going in a car. He's lost his reindeer. He's like, the gifts, I'm going to give it through a car. I'm going to drive in my car. Is this one. So this one has the Christmas bells, or just bells in general. And it's got this fireplace. So let's see where this would go best. Yeah, I think this one. Okay, let's do that. This method is very easy and practical for anybody, especially if you, like me, hate measuring. This is the perfect way to do things because it's no stress. You know, everything's going to be the same height. Yes, it's a bit time consuming, but it's about having fun, and crafts should be this way. It shouldn't be stressful. It's not about doing things faster. It's about living in the moment and really having fun and doing what you like. So I'm going to take my board now, and I'm going to cut them one by one. As I always say though, when you're using a pen knife, make sure that it's super sharp like a blade, but also go very slow and take your time, because it has happened to me once that I was being a bit impatient and then I went too fast. Not by doing this, of course. I was cutting a bigger box for something, and this slipped, and then I slit my finger, and that was pretty bad. It took me a long time to heal, actually. So ever since that, I learned my lesson. Patience. We don't have to be in a hurry when we're holding such a sharp knife. So these are the two pieces. Let's keep pushing. So we have all these pieces now. I'm just taking the pages. So all of these are the beautiful pages that we just cut. And these are the beautiful pieces that are going to be the pockets. So I'm going to now fold them into half. Like all of these, I'm going to fold them into half like this. And also fold these into half as well. So let's do that. This cardstock is a bit thick, so I have to do it both ways. I love to use the back of my scissors. It's the best bone folder because I don't have one. We improvise here, we improvise. And that's perfect. And for these ones, we will fold inwards like this. See, now even though this house has been cut off, it's not too bad. If I had done this beautiful reindeer, see, it's so pretty on the other side. So I'm glad I chose to do that. Look at that glitter on this page, it's so pretty. Yeah, it's gorgeous, gorgeous paper. Okay, continuing. Such beautiful papers. Gorgeous. Look at this, guys. They're so beautiful. So remember I said that I had two different patterned cardstock to join each of these cardstocks. So I've numbered them. So I've marked this with the number 8, and this one also has the number 8. That's number 8 and number 8. So all of them also are numbered. So I'm just going to pick one now of these two cardstocks. Now these are all cut, right? So I'm just going to keep these apart, away for now. We're not going to need these for now. So I'm just going to keep that away. And I'm going to pick one of these patterns from each of the stack that I had marked. So from what we're going to do is we're going to now make envelopes. We're going to make envelopes from each of these cardstocks. So since I have the 2 extra ones, I'm going to pick one pattern from each number. So both of these are number 8, which belongs to this cardstock, which will be all 3 of this will go into one signature, one journal. So out of these 2 patterns, I'm going to pick one. So we're going to make an envelope with it. So I think I'm going to choose this pattern, and I'm going to leave this cardstock aside. We'll get to that one. So now for the envelopes, I'm going to go through each one of these, and I'm going to pick one so we can begin making the envelopes. Okay, so now we're going to make the beautiful envelopes. So how I made this is I don't have those fancy punches that help make envelopes. So what I've done is, this was an old envelope that I had, then I had this beautiful wrapping paper. So I've made this like a template, and I use it for all my envelopes. So this is basically a template. So I'm just, now you know the drill by now. I'm just going to flip this over, and I'm going to draw each and every one. So let's begin to do that. The patterns I've chosen doesn't really have an up or down or anything. So I'm just going to pick a side and use my template. But if you probably, like for this one, I had like a floral pattern, so I wanted the leaf picture to be at the flap. But you might want to keep that in mind if you're using a different kind of cardstock. So for this one, I don't need to worry. It doesn't matter which side I pick. So I'm just going to do that now. So I have this cut piece, so I like to make the most of the cardstock. So I just put that right to the corner, like so. Like that. And then I start drawing with the pencil. So it's easier for me to just cut it up later on. I mean, erase it later on. What am I saying at this point? So I'm just going to outline this envelope. And this is number 8. So since that's getting cut away, I'm just rewriting it on the envelope so I don't lose the number. And then it's important to make sure you go around the whole outside of the envelope. You need to trace everything, including this line, including the line, everything. You just need to trace the entire thing. I'm saying so, I've completely missed a flap. So when that happens or you move, don't worry. Just go back and join all of it back together, neat as you can. And then you can redraw. Now that I have my template of, you can't see it too well because it's drawn with pencil. Let me try to get closer. You still can't see it, I think. Anyway, let me just, I don't want to draw it with a pen because it's really important that I do erase the lines, but you'll see it'll come together. So now that you can see the lines on this side, sure, let me just check. So can you see? This is how I've drawn exactly on the cardstock. Those are the pencil lines. It's basically just a rectangle in the middle. So I'm just going to take now my metal ruler and my scissor, because I don't have a scoring board or a bone folder. So let me just move this a bit so I can be a bit more comfortable. Right. So I'm just going to go and score the lines with my scissor, not too harshly, just enough so it's got a crease. And don't go too hard or you might tear your paper, your cardstock. So just following the rectangle in the middle, I'm just following these lines. So I'm just lightly making a few passes like so. I like to do 2 passes because I am being very light with the scissor. Right. Now that I've made my scores, which will help me fold the envelope easier, I'm just going to take my scissor now, and I'm just going to cut along the outer I'm just going to cut the envelope out, following the lines that I've drawn. You can use your pen knife if you like, but I like using my scissors. A lot of people say that they can't cut a straight line. I don't have that problem, thank God. I'm pretty accurate when I cut with my scissors. I love using my scissors and my pen knife. So, like that. I think it's really easy to use scissors. It really is for me. So this beautiful piece is now a scrap, and we will be using this as well. I'm just going to keep this aside for all of them. Now we have this square. This is what it should look like, right? And remember those oh yeah, and this piece, let me get closer. So this piece I will be cutting away. Only this piece I'll be cutting away. I should have cut it away when I was cutting, but just for this explanation I left it on. I will be saving even the smallest scraps because I like to do that. So now what I'm going to do is, so you know what this piece is? This piece is this part. This part. So this is what we scored. So if this is what it looks like, for example, we scored around the 4 lines. That's what we scored. And we cut around the entire thing. And this small piece that we cut off, that's this flap. Yep. So now what we're going to do is we are going to fold. It should be easier to fold because of the scores we did with the scissor. I like to use the back of my scissor and burnish it down. See what a multitask this tool is, this scissor. So I'm just going to fold up everything. If my finger can pick it up. And that's our envelope. We have an envelope, guys. So I'm just going to erase, I'm going to erase all the pencil lines like they were never there. Oops, I need that number. Okay, number 8 is on there. I'm going to erase these lines. Oh, yeah, let me explain that. We're still not done. This is a very important part. Let me, since I'm cutting it off, let me just quickly, maybe I can use the pen. So exactly where these meet, this part, we are going to cut these parts away. This is very important. So exactly where the score marks meet, like this way and this way, it forms a small triangle in the edge like this. So we are going to cut this out on all 4 corners. That helps the envelope to fold more easily. So That's all we're gonna cut. This tiny piece. That's all we're gonna cut. And that's what it should look like. A small piece that we're cutting off. There we have it, guys. Our envelope. So I fold these two corner flaps down, and then this one. I'm not going to glue anything down at the moment. We will get there when we get there. Right? Oh. And that's one envelope. No biggie. We just have about 6 or 7 more to make. So I'm again checking to see if this has any particular pattern. No, it does not matter. So I'm just going to start drawing. I'm tracing with my template. Again, I'm going to find a corner. So I'm just wasting less paper. Just finding a corner like that. So all of this will be scraps, and I love scraps, especially cardstock scraps, because they've got beautiful patterns, and you can work with scraps, make new paper or collages or anything really. So I think it's smart to trace the outer flaps of the envelope and then push the flap down and then draw the triangle bit, the straight line. I think that's a smarter way, or I don't know if it's a smarter way, but I feel like that's a better way to do it. So you're not really missing anything like I had previously. So yeah. So right now I'm not going to do the scoring. I'm just going to take all of these cardstocks and I'm going to draw them all first, and then I'm going to score them. For example, now this one has this print, so I'm just going to see how that looks. I'm just using one of these because I feel like they're the same size, so I'm just going to see which one would look better. And I think I would like this one to flip up like that, or maybe this one. Yeah, I think I'm going to put this way. So if I am to do this, yeah, yep, I think I'm going to do it that way. So again, I'm just going to make sure everything lines up like so, and I'm just going to trace the outer flaps first. then I'm just going to go over again and then draw the rectangle part with the flaps down. Like that. And I think I'm going to cut it out first this time. So we have a square. Perfect scrap piece. And now we are left with this square. Again, I'm going to take off this triangle part. Off she comes. Like that. Another beautiful scrap. And then we are going to use our scissor to score along these lines. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and the last line. 1, 2. And now we're going to fold them in. So drain the paper first. If your cardstock's a bit thicker, it helps to drain the paper before you completely fold. So just make a few bends, and then it's safe enough to fold, as they can tear and all kinds of things. So again, just strain it a bit, and then it's good to fold. And now I'm going to find those little tiny triangles that form when we score. So I'm just going to cut those tiny triangles away. And the best part about drawing on your cardstock with the template is you can make any size of envelope. I have made this size, but then I've made smaller envelopes also following the same method. You don't need specific measurements. You find a shape and size you like, you just trace it and then you cut it up, and then you have your own handmade envelopes. Very easy, a bit time consuming, but worth it, I think. So there we have it, guys. And of course we're going to go ahead and erase all these pencil lines. So when I fold this up, let's see how it looks. There we go. Very pretty. If you want, at this point, you can also see the score lines. Just going to erase everything really quick. And then you can cut where the triangles are made from the score lines now, these little triangles, before you fold, if you find that's easier. Because the score lines are pretty clear now, so you can see where these two lines meet to make a small triangle. So you just cut them out before you fold, like so, if you find that's easier. And again, I'm going to fold. The other envelopes we made. How pretty do these look, guys? They look so pretty. And all of them are hand drawn, hand cut, and hand folded. And these, you can even make different things out of envelopes, but we're not working on that today. But these beautiful envelopes are going to go into our journal. So now these are done. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video, guys. Bye.